I think, as much as we should and will talk about, some of the things they did offensively, defensively, they shut down this Vikings, group, and they did it by dominating up front on that defensive line. When you hold Dalvin Cook to less than 20 yards rushing.
18 yards.
I mean.
They only had 21 yards as a football team on the day.
Because here's the thing, much in the way we talk about the Niners and their ability to run the football, we've talked about the Vikings and their ability to run it. So for this to happen to them, I think just tells you that they got whooped up front by the 49ers.
Listen, it was pretty clear that the front seven of San Francisco was dominating the offensive line for the Minnesota Vikings. And this was a game where it felt like the bye week really mattered, right? Because Minnesota was the wild card. They went on the road last week to play in New Orleans, and then they had to go all the way out to San Francisco. And this is one of those weird things that you see sometimes. The Niners had to play to the whistle week 17 to find out whether they would be the 1 seed or the 5 seed. Baltimore found out in week 16 they had clinched everything. So they essentially had almost 3 weeks without playing football. It's the old rest versus rust debate that there's no right way and there's no wrong way, but it sure felt like Baltimore was rusty tonight, and the San Francisco 49ers were ready because they'd been tested in that Week 17 matchup.
And that defense got better, too. They got some guys back. They got Quan Alexander. They got D Ford. They got Tart. So they got guys back at each level of that defense that are just going to get better.
And I think it was a combination, you're saying the bye matters.
Yeah.
You think about what the Vikings had to do, right? So, the Vikings go down, obviously, an emotional game, down in New Orleans, turn around, come back 6 days later and play that rested team. Yeah, it looked that way.
Yeah, listen, that win by Tennessee as a 6th seed was the first win by a 6th seed since 2010 when the Green Bay Packers won 4 games as a 6th seed, which means they were Super Bowl champs that year.
The 49ers pass rush Saturday. Bosa, D Ford, DeForest Buckner. D Ford was back. That was a huge addition. First team since sacks became official in '82 to have 5 former first-round picks get at least 1 in a playoff game. No other team had even 4 before Saturday. 49ers built on D, then trading for Garoppolo. Here's Dan Graziano on how the Niners' defensive dominance that Tony just talked about has sealed their home date. 16th time they're in the NFC title game.
The 49ers' defensive game plan against the Vikings was clear. Stop Dalvin Cook in the run game on 1st and 2nd downs, then rush the passer on 3rd and long. We knew they wanted to make it a big boy game, Eric Armstead told me, and we weren't going to let them do that to us. The plan worked. Cook had 26 total yards on 15 touches, and the Vikings' average yardage to go on 3rd down was 8.8. That, Niners defensive end D Ford said, is where every defensive line wants to be. The defensive line is where the 49ers' strength is, with 4 first-round picks all playing at a high level. And as they look ahead to next week, when they'll play the NFC Championship game here at home, they believe that formula can carry them into the Super Bowl. We just have to be who we are, Armstead said. All year we've been playing at a high level. We didn't need to make anything up just because it's the playoffs. Just play like we always do.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.